All right, folks, we're back again. Yes, it's Wednesday, not Tuesday, but that's okay. It was well worth the wait, folks. You're live with Lonzo and Dusty. We're about to get this party started. But stick around. I got to drop a word from our sponsors. From the West Coast to the East Coast and everything between, folks. From Eve After Dark to concerts in the park. You're live with Lonzo, the Godfather, West Coast hip hop. Feeling good on the Wednesday afternoon. My man Dusty's in the house. It's about to go down like a broken elevator and 4 flat tires. Here we go. What up, Dusty? Can you hear me, Doc?
What up, Lonzo? How you doing, my dude? Yeah, I hear you good. You hear me?
You know what? I hear you fine, Doc. It's been a great week so far. I'm enjoying myself. My documentary premieres on Friday. It's all good. We here today. Yesterday I had to make a little Compton community activity run, but it's all good. We're back and making it happen, Doc.
Love that. Everything looking good for your documentary this Friday?
Yeah, I'm trying to pack that room out. Room hold 300 people. I'm trying to fill up every seat with every ass I know. Okay. Just on the strength. I just want the word to get out that it's a good documentary, Doc. I think once they see it, they'll appreciate it. And for those who don't know, it will solidify my contribution to West Coast hip hop. Because it's funny, Doc.
I love it.
People know me from different parts of my life, but very few times you get a chance to have everything culminate into one situation. Some people know me from the club as a club owner. Some people know me as World Class Wrecking Crew. Some people know me as one of the other clubs I own, whether it be Eve, Dudo, Skateland, Current Affair, Hollywood Park Casino, and a lot of people don't even associate my hip hop connection with any of that. So it just gives a chance to bring everything together.
What do you want your legacy to be if you can sum it up in a couple sentences?
Legacy, that's a good question, Doc. Learn not to be afraid. Learn to believe in yourself when nobody else could, nobody else would. Believe in God, because God has got me through everything I've ever done, Doc. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Bible thumper. I just know for a fact there's a higher power that guided me in places I couldn't have took myself if I had a jet, a train, or airplane. And that's real talk. So, don't be afraid to try something.
I love that, man.
Don't be afraid to be different.
Don't be afraid to be different. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to be, always stay true to yourself, man. Like I trip sometimes. Every once in a while, I get a little doubtful about my path. I see everybody got a shitload of money, but people got a shitload of problems that I don't have either. And I thank God that at my age, I'm still healthy. I can go where I want to go, do what I want to do. Maybe I don't ask for a whole lot, but I've been well taken care of. So, and to be able to tell your own story, that's a blessing. I mean, I got a great team. I got you, Dust. You, Velo, Professor, Nicole. Kerr, Walker. I got folks, man, that I've never seen before that's supporting this movement. I got people join all the time, and I'm real cautious about who I allow into my circle, Doc. I got long-term friends, but people say dead leaves fall off first, okay? And you've proven not to be a dead leaf. We've been doing this for 5 years now. Has it been 5 years? Yeah. So when you got,
man, it'll be 6 in November.
Wow. When you got folks like that on your team, man, it's hard not to lose. It's hard not to win. I'm sorry, hard not to win.
Yes, sir. I understand 100%, man. Definitely down to appreciate being down with the ride, man, because this is really fun stuff. Joining you every Tuesday. But shout out to the chat, fam. I see you guys commenting already. Definitely hit that like button before you guys get nice and comfortable. We got a few things I want to talk about today, Lonzo. Let's start with the first one. A few weeks ago, we discussed Fulio. Fulio was the guy who was killed on his 26th birthday. He was the one who was beefing with another crew in Jacksonville. They caught him slipping in a Jacksonville Holiday Inn hotel, or a Tampa Holiday Inn hotel. And he was the one, Lonzo, and I'm just briefing everybody and giving everybody an update before we jump into the latest news. But he was the one who was, dissing. He was recording videos at his ops gravesite. He was being very disrespectful in his songs, and his lifestyle caught up to him, and he was officially a done deal. You and I talked about this a few weeks ago, Lonzo, and you pretty much said it's only a matter of time before they catch the guys who killed Julio, because not too long after that, everybody was making a diss song. Everybody was insinuating on Twitter that they did it and stuff like that. Well, they did catch most, if not everybody involved, Lonzo. And it all started with a female. The female is the one who was hanging out with Julio, ended up leaking his address to his ops, saying, hey, he's here, like right now. She pretty much orchestrated the whole thing. But the recent update, Lonzo, these guys were caught in 4K on video camera, everything. I mean, you could damn near see their eyelashes and all that, you know what I'm saying? But it looked like something out of a Rambo movie. They approached the car, lit it up. I mean, we're talking a Holiday Inn, man, and there was 30-something shell casings found on the floor alone. But a few things they did wrong, Lonzo, and I'm going to give them to you before we jump into your opinion on this. Let's see. First thing they did is they rented an Airbnb about 1.5 miles away from the crime scene.
Okay.
Keep in mind, they're not from that part of Florida. They were in Tampa, and they got an Airbnb. There's proof that they rented the Airbnb. There's ring cameras showing them leaving just before the incident and showing up just after the incident. Same clothes that they were just caught in 4K and shooting the car up. They're going back in the ring cameras catching them. Lonzo, Tesla cameras are catching. I don't know if you know this about Tesla, but if they hear a loud bang or something, the video start recording, and cops all day are getting video from Tesla now. So they got caught that way. There's a couple more before we get your thing, because these are the dumbest Negroes I think we've ever talked about. What else did they do? They hold on one second. The female who dropped the location, she's already talking. She may be the reason this whole operation was taken down. She was seen in the music video just 2 weeks after he was killed. His ops did a music video, and there she is dancing in the music video. But before we even get into it, because there's way more, Alonzo, just based off that, what I've told you now, what are your current thoughts, man?
They must have went to, I don't know, Cornell University of Stupidity. Okay, they took a class, took out a student loan, and passed the class with flying colors. Because again, this goes to show you, this all goes back to the educational system of Florida. Okay, when you have people that are this dumb, who don't realize that technology is everywhere. Technology is everywhere. As you move throughout the city, you leave a digital footprint everywhere. Okay, and for them not to be aware of that, and to think that they was going to do this and get away with it. It shows you how stupid they are, especially in 2024. It just shows you that they went to class, took a stupid class, passed it with flying colors, and they got their tassels now.
Yeah, and they may just be spending the rest of their lives in prison. But let's talk about the female, Alonzo. Cops and, lawmakers. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just don't understand the mentality of these guys thinking they could actually do something like that and not get caught. I mean, or is prison not a deterrent anymore? And that's the question. That's the next question. Is prison so comfortable that people become immune to the possibility of spending your life in a place where you're no longer privy to heterosexual sex, driving a car, steak, McDonald's, whatever your favorite things are, you're done with. You're done. It's just like the guy the other day that was driving a car, had his kid and his girl and his baby in the car. That's the last car he's gonna drive. That's the last car he's going to drive. He won't have to worry about that no more. Okay. Whatever he did, he need to give her a kiss, hop in the back seat, and get what he's gonna get, because that's the last time he's gonna get it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the female aspect, Lonzo. Many have said, and even lawmakers, people I know, police officers I know, and things like that, they tell me that almost every time you do a crime and a female is involved, she's going to be the one to snitch. I mean, they got babies at home. They're a little more, prone to snitch. Talk to us about that.
This is one of my running jokes. I told my wife and any girl I've ever dealt with I care about, I said, she asked, what you doing? I ain't gonna tell you, because if it comes down to me and him talking to my son or one of my kids, I'm going to jail. I'm not gonna let you put me in that position. The less you know, the less you can testify to. Not saying I'm a criminal, but that was a joke, because I know for a fact when it comes down to them babies versus your black ass, you're going to jail. They will make up some shit just to get the kids out of foster care. Okay, they will make up some shit just to give the DA what they need, or whatever, prosecute whatever they need to set that baby free, or to avoid going to jail themselves. In most cases, kids, I think kids supersede baby daddies at all times. Kids supersede baby daddies. If they don't, that's a different kind of mama. I don't see many cookies for the empire. I don't see many cookies around here. Where you gonna leave three boys with your husband while you go through 15 years? I don't see that. There may be some, but especially when your participation was lightweight. Okay, your participation was minimum. You just, I don't know, flagged, flipped your hat or whatever to make this a signal and let them know what's happening. That might not be a big deal, but it could be enough to get you caught up as a conspirator. Yeah. And they start talking about taking babies away. That's usually, in fact, when I was running the club, the Eve, I had an all-female clientele, and usually they gave me a problem. I would go outside. Come here, baby, not you for a minute. Is this problem worth a hassle? For sometimes, yeah, I don't care. You got kids? Yeah. You want to see them tomorrow? Yeah. We'll take your ass home. All right. But I had one chick. See, I ain't lying. So you got kids? Yeah. You want to see them tomorrow? Fuck them little motherfuckers. My mama take care of them. I'm whooping this bitch's ass. I'm not bullshitting. That's real talk. So there are some out there who will just crash and burn for whatever reason and leave the kids with the mama.
That's cold. But we talked about this a few weeks back when this happened, Lonzo, and let's reiterate that this female, whether she knew or not, but she is just as responsible for the person who pulled the trigger by giving them their address.
Man, everybody got conspiracy to commit murder. Females, and let me say this. When I was a youngster, about 16, I was heavily influenced by some buddies in my neighborhood. And my daddy was around, but again, you're hanging out with the homies. And I was enticed to do some dumb shit. All I had to do was drive. I didn't have to go in. All I had to do was drive. And thank God what they was going to do. Just so happened, the police pulled up across the street. Okay, going to another establishment. But if they'd have done what they was going to do, we couldn't have made it out of there. And while I'm sitting there looking at the police pull up in the driveway next door or across the street, I'm thinking to myself, God, get me out of this, please. You ain't worry about me no more. And that was the end of my criminal career, okay? My attempted criminal career. But once I explained that to another gentleman friend of mine, anybody involved in that situation, if they done went in there and came out shooting, I might as well with the shooting too. Anybody involved, if you just drop the signal, let them know, hey, you may, and sometimes you can get away with it, but for the most part, if you get caught first or suspected and they put enough pressure on your ass, you're gonna talk. Most time they're gonna talk. Okay, what they say, the one that's eating at McDonald's, he the one to start telling. Give you some McDonald's, give him some McDonald's. They finna start talking. Okay, maybe that dog on the Big Macs got some truth serum in him or something. But they say that when you start seeing cats talking or start crying, he finna start talking.
Yep. We got questions. Go ahead and do your questions below, and I'm copying and pasting them, and I promise we're gonna get to them. I see you, Isaiah Edwards. What up, Marlon? What up,
folks? I see him.
Chard, all the homies in the building, man. Yeah. Hey, Lonzo, let me ask you this. This is more of the story here. One of the suspected shooters drove his mom's car, bro. drove his mom's damn car, Lonzo, and there were license plate readers. They basically didn't cover anything up, didn't change any license plate, left the goddamn thing. So there's license plate readers all to where the crime scene is. Once again, caught in 4K. They even have him pulling up, to the place, wiping the car down, taking out some bags, transferring stuff. Not only that, Lonzo, inside his mother's car, the one he had just did the damn crime in, this dumb Negro had some shell casings in there that linked him to the crime. So they have this thing called a shell catcher, Lonzo, that a lot of these street kids are using now, where I guess if you have an automatic weapon, you shoot it and it just catches all the shells, or catches a lot of the shells so they don't fall on the ground. Well, this dumb mother effer had decided to put a few of those in his mom's car. So when the police raided his home and checked the car, there's the shell casings right there.
All right, congratulations. He must be the valedictorian of stupid school. Got to be the valedictorian. Got to be. I'm gonna have to get a one of those graduational effects. Play that graduation music for these stupid fools that insist on going to stupid school and getting PhDs.
Yeah, that's embarrassing, man. That's horrible. And they're all going to do a lot of time. And once again, people are starting to sing like a bird. And all this is going to do is bring attention to all the rap crews. It's probably going to stop a lot of money, Lonzo, because no one's going to want to have these guys perform at their club knowing they got beefs like this. I mean, would you want these guys performing at your club? And shout out to Marley, man. Good looking out.
Much love, Marley. I see you, Doc. Hell no, Doc. That don't make no. As a club owner, the last thing you want to have is any potential violent actions. What happens? It kills the club and it puts a rep on the club that people get beat up, people get shot there. Right now, one of the clubs here locally in LA, it was on Facebook. Security guard slammed this girl, slammed the shit out of her. And my buddy, I used to go there on a regular basis. I haven't been there. I don't go every week, but I go pretty regularly. But I've been busy on Friday, so I haven't been. But my partner, who was a staple in the business, said, "Man, you could play racquetball in that joint now," because the word has gotten out that they did some foul stuff. They allowed foul stuff to happen, and people ain't dealing with that. Nobody wants to be around shooting and violence, man. Nobody in their right mind wants to do that. And this spot used to crack on Friday afternoon after happy hour. It would be cracking. I mean, like nobody. It was right there in a good industrial area. A lot of folks got money and jobs, and they had great food. Drinks were good. And, one or a couple of small incidents could shut you down, Doc. It's real talk. A couple of small incidents could shut you down. And don't let no gunplay happen. It could really quit you out of business completely.
One incident, right? Just one single incident.
Just one good one. Yeah. And you can come back, but you're gonna catch hell. You're gonna catch hell. And then it depends on how frequent they happen. Then you got another problem with the city council and the police department and your insurance company. The hidden god of all that shit. That's why you don't have a lot of clubs and stuff in LA no more. Gang violence is too volatile. You can't have a nightclub in heavily gang areas, Doc. It's not going to work. And if you do, they won't let you dance. They won't let you do a whole lot of stuff, Doc. Trust me, I'm speaking from experience. So, yes.
Omashan H says, you were in Compton before the gangs took over. What year do you remember Compton becoming dangerous?
About 85, 84, 85. We were having issues. My Compton College story was about 85. Same thing with the English Square story, about 85. Compton had a reputation for a while, but we respected each other enough. Well, people were respected enough, keep a lot of the stuff within the ranks of the gangs and not the civilians. A lot of civilians got passes because they knew, hey man, you play football, you square, leave him alone. Let's go. It wasn't no fun to beat up a square. Okay, it wasn't no fun. And in gangbangers back in my era, you had to be able to fight, thump, you You had to have what they call it? You had to be able to box. Okay, it was about quality, and not quantity back then. 7, 8 Pyro boys. What about 8 of them cats? What about 7, 8 Pyro boys? It wasn't no big old numerous massive game. It was about 7 to 8 Pyro boys. Now you got Pyro affiliates, but for actual Pyro boys, you only had about 6 or 7, 8 of them at the most, maybe 10. I'm gonna give you that, okay? But you had affiliates, okay? And the same thing with cats like Tookie. There was a handful, there was a few Crips, but it wasn't. A lot of guys would go from the neighborhood to go see what they was gonna do, okay? That's before social media, that people had to go witness. So you might have 20, 30 guys walking. Everybody ain't fighting. Everybody ain't shooting. Some people just there to see what's going on, to witness what happened.
Yeah, man. Let's move on a little bit. Hold on, let me see. Where was I at? I want to talk about the '84 Olympics, being that the Olympics are here, and this is probably one of the first years where I don't even think I've sat down and watched any of the Olympics, which is surprising to me. But let's talk about the '84 Olympics when they came to LA, Lonzo. Kind of a big deal. And every time they go to a city and do the Olympics or any big event there, what they do is they clean up the area. They push the homeless a certain way. They paint over the graffiti. They make it look like a nice, beautiful, livable city. And I do know for a fact that they did that with Los Angeles as well. I want to talk a little bit about that, but can you take us back to the '84 Olympics and just what you remember about that specific time?
'84 Olympics was a major event here in the city. The one thing I remember about the '84 Olympics, like nothing else, man, the streets, the freeways. You could travel on the freeways anytime you wanted to. It was smooth sailing. Didn't have no traffic. All that 405, 5 o'clock traffic, 110. What they did was they banned all deliveries at a certain time. You couldn't deliver big trucks not on the road during certain times of the evening, times of the morning. You had to drive your trucks at nighttime. So the passenger cars had traffic most of the time. You might see a delivery van, but as far as diesels and stuff like that, you didn't see those on the road during the Olympic time. They had to deliver at nighttime when traffic was thinner. It was smooth sailing, and even downtown LA, a lot of what you see right now in downtown LA is still in full effect from the Olympics. A lot of those one-way streets, they did that during the Olympics, and some of them just stayed one-way streets. I didn't really pay that much attention to the Olympics at that time. Outside of the fact that that's when I renamed the group World Class Wrecking Crew, because I'd never heard the phrase world class used so much in my life. And I kept hearing world class swimmer, world class runner, and world class this and world class that. And we just got hit with this cease and desist letter from a lawyer out of Chicago, saying that we couldn't use the name Wrecking Crew. So I called my lawyer, and that's when I hit him with the world class and dropped the G and spelled crew, CRU. And that's how you got World Class Wrecking Crew. That's probably the most significant thing for me personally that is still stuck with me right to this day, that we became World Class Wrecking Crew during the Olympics. And aside from the traffic, and the city was just so beautiful. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit, okay? Why is it you got to wait till you had company to clean up? That's basically what you're doing. You're waiting until you got company to clean up, okay? That's like having a house, and your girl, your wife, or whatever the case may be, is a nasty-ass housekeeper, but you want everybody to think that she is a super maid, and why she got company. But as soon as they leave, you go right back to being that. Nah, man, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I've never cared for that.
Yep.
Okay? I've never been one to put on airs. That's basically you putting on airs. That's what they call it. Old folks call it. You putting on airs. Okay? You paint shit that need to have been painted. People have been bitching for years to get this shit painted. Oh, now you got some company. Okay? And then back in the '84 Olympics, I saw this recently. another one of my buddies who runs the Chamber of Commerce, he showed me the tourist map of '84, the '84 Olympics, and they had Compton blacked out. The whole section of Compton blacked out. Okay, but that was before we had the train in Compton. Okay, now here is what the beautiful thing about Compton is. Compton, I'm on the Olympic Committee in Compton, and as the president of the Compton Entertainment Chamber of Commerce, but I'm also on the committee as well. They can't block us this year. They can't stop us, because one thing about the Olympics, the Olympic events are spread out around the city. They may be in the Valley, they may be in Long Beach, they may be in Pasadena, they may be anywhere in the city. So the train system goes through Compton. Right. In fact, Compton got 2 stops. The only city that has 2 stops for the train. And we're trying to prepare for that right now. How we can take advantage of it, some way, form, and fashion. We can't wait till the last 18 months to try making changes. We got to make changes now. So that's one of the things that I'm working with the city on, to make some changes and let the changes be a part of the everyday lifestyle, not just putting on airs because you got company. Bottom line. It's real.
Putting on airs. I'm gonna have to use that one. I like that. You know, we briefly talked about this with Big Urch a few weeks ago when we had him on the show. And we talked about the special that was ran on CBS, I do believe. And it was a special about the Olympics, but it was different because what it did was it touched on the growing gang problem that LA was allegedly hiding during the Olympics, '84 Olympics, Crips, Bloods. I mean, it was about as explosive as it gets. And you throw crack in there, and LA was a fire keg, you know. But here we are having this Olympics, and here let's bring the guests over and clean it up and things like that. But do you remember anything about that specific part of that, Lonzo, where they were trying to suppress this growing gang situation?
They was locking brothers up for at least 3 weeks at a time. Folks were getting stupid shit, gets you snatched up. You got out just in time for them to put the torch out. Their brothers were disappearing right around that time. By the time you got scooped up, if you was doing anything stupid, you got scooped up. Your court date was probably right after the Olympics. Okay, man. I think, if I'm mistaken, a lot of stuff was done around USC and the Coliseum, or the USC, Coliseum, some things at the Convention Center in Pasadena. And those are all black areas for the most part. USC sits right in the middle of South Central LA. So they're not taking, no, you think, all right, spit. Go ahead, spit. You finna get your ass 30 days. Olympic thing for 2 weeks, you're going to get 30 days just to think about it. We're not you're not letting your stupid ass make us look bad. They're gonna protect those tourists, Doc. That's why another reason why things happen around Olympic, around SC. SC is a whole world by itself. Most of the people that go to USC are not from here. Okay, a lot of folks. I'm gonna say most. A large percentage of the people that go to USC ain't from California. So there a lot of them are foreigners, and that's a lot of money. 200 grand a year. Go to USC. 200 G's a year. Do you think they're gonna let some brothers or some fools go up there and act a damn fool and mess up that money? No. Anytime there's something happen around USC, they crack that shit down real quick. That's a $1 billion industry. USC is $1 billion industry. Not to mention the alumni and the endowment. Come on, dude. That ain't no joke. So, yeah. So when you think about where USC is located on Exposition and Figueroa, holes right down the street. Huh? And think about it. You got holes right down the street. You ain't got nothing. You ain't got nothing on Exposition. You ain't got nothing on Exposition. They may be across MLK, but they ain't not on Exposition. They won't be on Exposition. You start seeing them red bricks. I tell you what, I think MLK, north of MLK, with the BMO Stadium, all that right there is like the heart of USC area, all the way to Vermont, and even some of those houses around there, because a lot of those frats have houses in those areas. Man, dude, you think them cats in Florida was stupid? Go with the USC and act the fool. You finna come up missing. You might get put in one of them black vans with a bunch of cats with hoods.
Yeah, man, that's no joke. Yeah, we're about halfway through the show. Shout out to everybody. Let me take a quick minute just to remind everybody to hit that like button if you haven't already. Just go on and smash it for your boys. That really helps out. The algorithm lets YouTube know that we exist. If this is your first time joining the channel and you're entertained by what you hear, check out this. Hit the subscribe button. You're tuned in to N.W.A. Stories with Lonzo. That is Alonzo Williams. I always get that wrong. The godfather of West Coast hip hop. If you don't know the name, do your Google search. Go down that rabbit hole and you will see what this man has done for West Coast hip hop and what he continues to do today for West Coast hip hop. But I want to jump into something, Lonzo. We've talked about this in the past, and it's been a couple of years, actually, that we first discussed it. And even so, you went on, hold on one second, see, dang computer. Even so, you went on the homie MC8 still and their show, and I was actually joined with you where you guys did discuss this. But MC8 was talking with DJ Vlad, and he made some similar comments to what he made. Wasn't disrespectful, but I just want you to comment on it about his inspiration and what was his true inspiration. So let me go ahead and turn the volume up on this. This is MC8 on DJ Vlad saying where his true inspiration came from.
No. I was living in the Bay. I had never in my life heard of Compton. In fact, after listening to EAZY E, I thought that Compton was in Michigan. Okay. Because of that little skit in the beginning. Oh. Okay.
Now, we had a lot of, we had the Wrecking Crews and the Unknown DJs.
They did not move around like the EAZY E album.
I get a little flat because I say that EAZY is who influenced me to make records. Not like, the Wrecking Crew or fucking the LA Dream Team or Bobby Jimmy and the Critters and shit.
I remember that.
That to me wasn't our identity as West Coast music. Now, I don't hate the sound that we had.
Well, it's the electro sound. Yeah.
It was a technotronic electro sound.
Yeah. Uncle Jam's Army, Egyptian Lover. I was listening to all this stuff.
Okay, and it was good. It was great music.
But it wasn't like
But it wasn't
N.W.A.
the foundation of Compton to me.
No.
And so, not to discredit nobody, but yeah, EAZY and Ruthless was the influence of Compton to me.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean,
and shout out to him for at least keeping the name alive. This was 9 days ago on Vlad TV.
That's all good, Doc. That's all good. And it's real, man. I realized that I played a Wrecking Crew, played a intricate part, but we were the beginning and the end of an era. Okay, we were the beginning of the independent era. We were the end of that era. All right. But again, everybody came to me to transition. That was Lonzo set the precedent for a whole bunch of shit that people don't even talk about. People don't even think about. There was nobody in a group that owned a label that was in the group till I did it. That became the blueprint for EAZY. That became the blueprint for Luke. Became the blueprint for Puffy. It wasn't. They told me I couldn't do it, and I'm like, why can't I? Because Barry Gordy and the Temptations. The fuck they got to do with me? What the fuck, Barry Gordy not being the Temptations got to do with me? Okay, my motivation for making music was not the same as Barry Gordy's. We were having fun. I was having fun. We was getting girls. We was doing our thing at that time. Like I told them before, I ain't never in my life wrote a song to impress another man. I was not trying to impress the homies. My homies was impressed by me even making a record. So why would I make records to impress my homies? The motivation, the whole mindset of the streets changed in the 80s after crack came around. You would swear that brothers hated women. Ain't never made a record geared toward a woman didn't call her a bitch. Never. Most guys haven't. I can't recall Cube ever making a song. No, just I love them all. I can't recall Cube ever making a song regarding a woman called anything other than a bitch. Same thing with N.W.A. Tupac is the only brother I can think of that had any empathy for females whatsoever. I think about it. If I'm lying, y'all in the chat room, check me. My whole motivation, now maybe because our motivation was one thing. We was always trying to have the party, because that was my era. Man, when we opened it, when we was doing music, we spent, man, damn near 3-4 months just touring LA, doing parties, doing club appearances. And now you can't go to a club nowhere. People hit me up all the time. Can't wait till the Eve open back up, or where can they find a venue? Can't find a venue to party no more because nobody don't make party music. People make phone music. They make music to listen to their phones too. Dancing is not even an option in most cases. But I tell you what, you put some dance music on, folks will start moving. But when they go to the studio, they don't think about that. The era of world-class wrecking crew, we come straight from the party era. The 70s, the 80s, the late, I'm from disco. Come on, man. All we did was disco. How are you going to tell somebody born in disco that they got to start rapping to impress other men? Unless they're the village people. How are you going to do that? How do you do that and make it, man, why I want to do that? You see them girls over there? I'm going over there. That's why I got 4-5 love songs. Somebody just asked about one of my love songs a minute ago. Love Letter. I wrote that song on the strength because that was my first time doing something by myself. Me and Mona did it together. So the motivation for making music was different. EAZY was going for shock. He was doing shock hop. That's what my nephew called it, shock hop. It was supposed to be just some underground stuff, just above what they call party records, the blue music, blue records. The records that people played, real low in the background. You had to buy them behind the curtain at the VIP. You couldn't buy them, put them on the shelf. That was the initial purpose of that. And then it went left. It blew up. We never thought about doing no shit like that. And when you talk to people who've done this stuff, and they realize the can of worms they opened up with a touch of regret. Because because when you're a kid, you're 20, 21 years old, you'll crash and burn over anything. Them fools in Florida are perfect examples of that. But when you're older and you got your own kids and you got a family, do you really want the hood to be as dangerous as it was in the 80s? And you might be the one answering that phone to get about your kid or your child being shot and killed. I don't think nobody wants that, man. I don't think nobody wants that. So when you sit here and you think about folks making gangster rap records about how bad Compton is, but they got their asses up out of here. Most of them are gone. They all live in white neighborhoods talking about how bad Compton is. You got folks that are multimillionaires that are talking about gang banging and grabbing AKs. These same brothers got AARP cards, grandkids, ain't lived in the hood and God knows how long, but still perpetrating the same shit they promoted back in the 80s and 90s. Your kids going to private school and college based on the blood and death of other folks' kids. Come on, man, that's bullshit. And I don't give a fuck who don't like it. That's bullshit. And I'll be hated for it. I don't give a fuck. But that's the reality of it. You got folks that are grown-ass men still talking the same bullshit they was talking about in the 90s. You can't tell me your life ain't changed more than that. You can't tell me that. And if it has not, you doing something wrong. If you still talking the same shit in the 80s and 90s, when you got an AARP card and you're 50 plus years on earth, and you still talking the same shit, who you talking it to? Your grandkids? Me and Unknown almost died laughing, trying to imagine my daddy and Jeffy. And I met Jeffy. Jeffy was 55 years old. My daddy was, I think he was a couple years older than Jeffy. I'm trying to imagine my daddy and Jeffy. Back up. Don't even do it for me. Think about my audience, Derek, Marlon. Think about your 55, 60-year-old daddy trying to be hard, talking about being a gangster. Dusty, you do the same thing. I know your father passed. Imagine your daddy is 60 years old or 50, whatever it was he was, talking about being a gangster at 60 years old. How stupid that sounds, okay? Oh, and who are you trying to appeal to? Your market is dying every day. Your market is dying every day. Your market is dying every day. But are you talking to their kids now? Then you wonder why their kids is grabbing machine guns and killing folks in front of ring cameras. Come on, man. That don't make no sense. It don't make sense. But it makes somebody some money, though. And that's all that matters to a lot of people, dude. That's probably why I'm in the position I'm in. I don't have the money I'd love to have, but I ain't going to do certain shit. I ain't going to do it. What can I tell you?
Yep. Yeah, let's talk about going back to the electro techno rap funk sound. I don't know what the specific phrase is, but is it safe to say when history is all said and done and, hip hop is behind us and all that, is it safe to say that sound was founded on the West Coast?
No, not at all. Well, I guess the electro funk was, but we got our sound. We borrowed our sound from African Bambaataa.
Gotcha.
African Bambaataa, Thomas Dolby. This is the music that was cracking it even after dark. Why would we not do it? Why would we do? Why would we not? We got Soul Sonic Force. I can't. Y'all know what I'm thinking about it over in England. There was a electronic band.
Tour de France.
Tour de France. Who made that was a song. Tour de France was a song. Who made Tour de France, y'all?
Yeah, that was a song. I forgot the name of the group. Someone comment down below.
Kraftwerk.
Yeah, we're on the same page. The one that Turbo. There you go, Kraftwerk.
Okay. These were this was the shit that we couldn't sing enough. We couldn't sing well enough to do George Clinton a slave shit or cameo shit. That was the hot shit in the 80s. But when they started putting vocoders on stuff and made it fast, we can handle that. We didn't play no instruments. We didn't play shit. We had to do what we was doing the best we can. We put our drum machines. I didn't know a drum machine can go that slow. Every drum machine we ever had was cranking 125 BPMs plus. And when you think about, man, the era, and see, there's people always trying to compare one to, then the two are not compatible. Me and Wana talked about this with JJ Fad. Wana was one of the first groups signed to Ruthless. JJ Fad was one of the first group signed to Ruthless, their first platinum album. And then they flipped because they knew that shit still was selling. JJ Fad's album was on Atco, was kicking ass. They first platinum album, but then they flipped around and came something else. It wasn't like they was authentic gangster. EAZY was having fun. Then the gangsterism came in because that's what they became gangsters. People keep forgetting they was not gangsters in the beginning. They was something else. It was reality rap. All this selective amnesia is very frustrating. That's basically what it is. You forget that they were talking about something else. Express Yourself. Panic Zone ain't nothing but a Wrecking Crew song with the name N.W.A on it. Something to Dance To ain't nothing but a Wrecking Crew song. They both were produced by Arabian Prince. So why is it? Huh? They both were produced by Arabian Prince, and he was one of the primary brothers when it came to electro funk on the West Coast. Us, Arabian Prince, and Egyptian Lover. He was the primary player of electro funk, but they brought that sound because they weren't sure it was going to be accepted. Those were their first two releases, along with Boys in the Hood. Okay, those were songs they released those first, and they knew that K-Day was going to play that kind of stuff. K-Day, Greg took forever to get around to playing Boys in the Hood. It wasn't an instant success. It took a while for us to get took a while to get the edits done on Boys in the Hood where Greg could feel comfortable playing it on K-Day. Meanwhile, they played Panic Zone. They played something to dance to. So unless you really, really understand the true history of N.W.A, it's real hard to say what they weren't. Now, Panic Zone, come on, man, that's nothing but a Wrecking Crew song. It is. But before I go there, man, before we go there, I had to say something, man. Something came across my desk the other day. I'm looking for this brother. I'm looking for Sugar Free.
Me too. Sure.
I talked to one of my cousins, my nephews, and Sugar Free was on a state-sponsored vacation, and they got to talking. And he mentioned that Sugar Free told him voluntarily he used to be at the house studio recording back in the day with 8 now. He would be at my house. I don't recall that. I'm not saying he lying. That was 40-something years ago. I don't recall a lot of shit. Okay. But he said, hey man, I was at Lonzo's house, the studio in the back, and with the pond, and my nephew forgot I had a pond in my backyard. All right. And he didn't, this Sugar Free didn't know my guy, the guy he was talking to was my nephew. And he, hey man, that Lonzo's my uncle. Well, everybody's somebody's uncle. No. His sister he's my mom's sister, my mom's brother. So verified, blah, blah, blah. Allegedly, there's a health issue my man is dealing with. And I'm not gonna put his business out in the streets because that's not my business. But I just want to say something before we get too run out of time in the show. As we get older, all us hip hop heads, the dirt we did in the 70s or the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s, as you get older, you got to start paying for that shit. And I know more and more of my partners dealing with kidney issues, diabetes, all the stuff that that comes with not taking care of yourself properly. Okay. We was laughing because, when you have any kind of disease, it's usually a cause of it. Stress causes heart attacks and strokes, not eating properly, kidney disease, folks be drinking hard. And a comment was made, and I tell an unknown, I say, man, you hear all these brothers been rapping about Courvoisier and Hennessy and Dom Perignon and Cristal. You ain't never heard a nigga yet rap about no water. You ain't never heard a brother rap about getting a bottle of water. Okay? So this goes right back to what we were saying earlier, how these brothers, in the effort of trying to impress somebody else, they lead themselves and others into a life that's not sustainable physically or financially. Like Facebook or Instagram will have you thinking every chick on there got it going on. Nah, brothers, everybody on Facebook and Instagram ain't got it going on, but they'll let you think they got it going on. It's the same thing with the record. Oh man, we drink Hennessy all night long. We drink Courvoisier and blah 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 blah. Smoke this, smoke that. But you don't know behind closed doors how many pills this girl's got to take. How many times he got to go to the doctor, or if they on dialysis or something. They people be fronting, but they got real issues. And as I talk to my old school players, I see more and more of them having issues. And that, just as a triple OG, my thing is prostate cancer. Prostate cancer is one of them things that you just might have it, dude. You might get it, you might not. But because I had it, and when I realized the cause of it, and it's usually caused by your diet, based on the fact that when you are this is my own personal theory. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but when I said this in front of doctors, and they all agreed with me. When I was coming up, my mom's home cooked meals. The food we ate was totally different. In fact, we had our own chickens in the backyard. No bullshit. We lived out just outside of Compton. My dad would go in the backyard and pop a chicken's head off, boil his ass, cut him open, boil it. Take my mama plucked the feathers, and that motherfucker would be a 3-piece coming up. Okay, real talk. Garden in the backyard. So because a lot of us was raised on different kind of food, fresher food, not a lot of pesticides, not a lot of GMOs, anything of that nature. Prostate cancer used to be an old man's disease. You didn't even think about prostate cancer. He was 49, 50 years old. If you didn't have an ARP card, prostate cancer wasn't even the issue. Well, because I had it, I've dealt with it, our brothers are always calling me and talking to me about it. I'm talking to brothers 35, 36 years old now. Because my theory is you start eating fast foods or processed foods a lot earlier now. So your body is affected a lot earlier. So whether it's processed foods and prostate cancer or kidney disease, because you ain't drinking enough water, or whatever, the colon cancer, all that shit is preventable if you take care of yourself and do what you got to do. And I'm not going to preach, but I got to teach, because if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, I ain't a triple OG. All right? So, brothers, watching this show, Marlon, Joe, Derek, all y'all, okay? Man, don't let this finger get you killed. Oh, man, ain't nobody, no, don't. First of all, this finger is obsolete. It's obsolete as hell right now. Don't let them tell you anything different. On my next prostate cancer walk, which is on September 14th, we got doctors coming out there to check for prostate cancer, and they will use the PSA test, which is basically draw a little bit of blood and we'll take it to the lab. That's it. You ain't got to fear you will leave there with your anal virginity intact. Your anal hymen intact. So yeah, all right. So all that, man, I ain't know, you know what? I've had brothers tell me, oh, man, I know you was like that, nigga. I ain't like that. I've been accused of a lot of shit. That's one of them I ain't been accused of. Bottom line is, Doc, I'm saying that because as I talk to different folks and I hear different stories about guys that are younger than me having major health issues, I just think it's as a triple OG in the game, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's all.
Yeah. And at least have a physical once a year. I mean, get everything checked under the hood, make sure you're good, all the blood work, because that's when they'll find stuff early.
Yeah.
And then you could deal with it then. Don't go 3-4 years without going to the doctor. Like, check that shit every single year. My appointment's next month.
Yeah, dude.
My yearly physical. Just make sure everything's good under there. So I'm there,
dude,
catch it early.
I was in Sacramento at the last year at the film festival. I almost started crying, dude. I almost started crying. I met at the end of my prostate, at the end of my director's cut, my Eve documentary, I talk about my prostate cancer involvement. This brother pulled me, young brother, he must have been 41, 42, pulled me to the side and said, man, I'm glad you talking about prostate cancer. I wish I'd known somebody like you before. I said, what's happening, man? He says, I got prostate cancer, stage 4. He says, terminal. I could see in his eye, he wasn't lying. He says, terminal. I'm just working right now, man, just to get it off my mind. He's 41. Stage 4, terminal, which means yeah, that's it. That could be it. Get your affairs in order, bro. I couldn't say nothing. I couldn't say nothing, man. I just gave the brother a hug, man. You know, he said he was gonna still keep trying to do what he can do, but the doctor said, "Hey, man, it started to affect other organs now," and that's when the shit get bad. You don't need a prostate, but you need a gallbladder. You need other shit. Okay, prostate. I don't have one now. I don't have one. They took it out. No shit. But I need my gallbladder, I need my kidneys, and as long as you got those right there, you can work without it. Yes, true talk, real talk, folks. I'm gonna start preaching now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening.
Man, that's deep. And keep it real, man. That's the stuff these kids we need to hear. That's the stuff we need to hear. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just say we. Definitely. Let's pump up the August 9th event. Real quick, Lonzo, for the last, few minutes. What went into your documentary, man? Take us to the beginning of stages, why you ended up doing it.
We'd already talked about doing this. This documentary right here has been what, 7-8 years in the making, dude. I met the professor back in 2015, 2016, something like that. And we, he was working with another group of mine, partner of mine, I should say, South Central Cartel. And they came up to the club to shoot some stuff. And I liked what he was doing. We got to talking, and people started verifying right there who I am. And we started shooting. And, it's this thing is taking so many different turns, man. And here's the crazy part. The Eve After Dark documentary helped us do the N.W.A documentary, because my boy who worked on the Eve documentary, David Stewart Velo, he and I worked so fast together. We did that in less than a year, from the Super Bowl to movie to a screening. It was just under a year. I think the Super Bowl was the 2023 Super Bowl was the next week after. Oh, it just happened. That's what it was. Because I just got back from New York. I watched the Super Bowl that Sunday, and the following Friday, I was back in LA premiering my documentary. That's what it was. So it was a week after. Almost it took us a year from concept to actual showing, having our first screening. And I learned so much about filmmaking and doing documentaries from this brother, and he learned so much about me. And we already had the N.W.A documentary in process, and him and Professor got together, and the whole dynamics just changed. I called up people who called me. I called up DOC. He's on the documentary. I reached out for Yella. Yella's on the documentary. Arabian Prince, Poetess, D Barnes, Rose, Battle Cat. All these folks stepped up and came to the studio and did their part. Juana's on it from JJ Fad, Violet Brown, and we brought it all the way up to Easy Street. So then I went back. I grabbed my man Atron. Atron and I go back to the late 80s, before he had Tupac, and he was my intern for Crew Cut. So all this stuff and all the stuff we talked about, we interwoven some of my own personal videos when I was on Love Connection back in the 80s. I was on Love Connection. Yeah, I did that. I do all kind of shit. Then I even brought in one of my videos from when I was on the Newlywed Game. Yeah, I was on the Newlywed Game. I do shit like that. I don't care. Let's have some fun. And just on that attitude right there, just saying what I just said, for me to be on the Newlywed Game and the dating game, when I got time to be a gangster? You got to understand. You got to understand the man behind the myth. I guess if you want to say, I never had time for being there because I was always doing something different. And this is what the documentary would show. But again, I never opposed any man from doing what he wanted to do. And that's why me and Easy got along. Hey, man, I don't care what you do. Give me my money. I'm gonna show you what you need to do. Good luck. And it worked out for him. And ain't no haterade. It's just, hey, dude, understand that that wasn't me. That wasn't me. What you seeing now, you just seen the older version of the cat from the 84. That's all. No Jerry curl, just bald. And the documentary will show that. Huh?
When did you start losing the Jerry curl? What year?
I lost Jerry curl right after I got married for the first time. I was on a so-called honeymoon out in Hawaii, and I came back home. I've been swimming all this time. I went to the gym. I saw I got fat. I'm going to the gym trying to work out and shit. And I look in the gym had mirrors all around it. And I saw this brother on the bicycle had this big ass hole in his natural. And I'm like, oh, that nigga got a hole in his natural. Like, wait a minute, that's my ass. And I left the gym when cut my hair up the same day. I ain't had no hair since then. No bullshit. And I told myself I wasn't gonna try and I wasn't gonna do this.
Love it. Love it, man.
All right. Hey, folks, it's time to go.
Man, that was a quick hour, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to all the subscribers. Hit them, Lonzo.
All right, folks. For those who never heard of me, I'm the first one to put Dr. Dre in the surgery, stuck Ice Cube in the freezer till he got cold on the eve after dark, 50-yard line at the Super Bowl. If you saw the movie Straight Outta Compton, they played me like a hater of rap. Don't believe that bull. It was all Hollywood cap. My history goes deeper than you will ever know. Just remember that N.W.A stands for Not Without Alonzo. Peace, folks.